My mom invited my ex to dinner, so I jumped out of the window story. Some backstory. I had been dating my ex-fiancée Sarah for 4 years. We had been planning to get married in November 2020, but I found out at the start of this month that she cheated on me. She begged me to give her another chance, but I broke it off. The problem was that being cheated on is, in my mind, completely emasculating and humiliating. So I never told anyone that was the reason we broke up. For obvious reasons, Sarah also didn't tell people we broke up because she cheated. So people have blamed me for the breakup, including my mom. They just see that I dumped her out of the blue. I've gone very strict no contact with Sarah after I discovered she was cheating on me. Sarah has been talking with my mom and has convinced her that if we could talk one more time, we would be able to reconcile. My mom has been applying hardcore pressure on me to talk with Sarah, but I've explained that there's no chance we will ever get back together. So tonight, I go over to my mom's place because she's hosting family for Christmas Eve. I'm there for a bit talking with my aunts and uncles and cousins when the doorbell rings, and I can see it's Sarah. I ask what the hell is going on, and my mom says she invited Sarah so we can work this out in the spirit of the holidays. I'm pissed now because the only way to explain my side of the story is to tell everyone I was cheated on. Complete humiliation in front of my whole family. So as my mom goes to the front door, I go into the bathroom. My mom starts knocking on the door, saying that I need to come out and talk to my ex like an adult. I say F it, kick out the window screen, and get in my car and go home. My mom called a short while ago, saying she's cutting ties with me over my behavior. She's really fixated on me jumping out of a window, and that Sarah will always be like a child to her. My sister called me after to ream me out for ruining Christmas. I broke down and told her that Sarah cheated on me, which is why I dumped her and didn't want to see her under any circumstances. She called me a big a-hole who was lying to cover for myself. Am I really in the wrong? Response 1, fuck that. Your mom, Sarah, and your sister are all a-holes. The nerve of her to show up at your mom's house. I'm pissed off just reading this. I don't understand why your mother is so invested in Sarah. Why would you want to tell her Sarah cheated on you after how your sister acted? What a freaking mess. Not gonna lie, you kicking out the screen and taking off through the window is straight savage. Reflexes up on legendary, not the a-hole. Thank you very much for the awards, kind strangers. My first platinum and 3 silvers. I'm very grateful. Wow. Thank you. Reply 1. I gotta say though that OP honestly should have came clean at some point before it escalated to any of this. Yes, it shouldn't have been his family's business and yes, she should have believed him when he said that he was cheated on. But come on, when you reach the point that you have to essentially break out of your mom's bathroom to get to your car and drive away to avoid telling someone what happened, you have to take a step back and see how that looks to people. Having said that, I think OP needs a long, hard break from just about everybody and needs time to himself. Reply 2. Yeah, you're right. OP should just tell them. But honestly, it doesn't matter. The mom needs to stay in their lane and stop trying to bring a couple back together. This isn't a Hallmark movie. Reply 3, it's not. But in my opinion, manipulative people are much worse in real life because it's so much more subtle than in movies, in my opinion. In general, people will tend to believe whoever talks to them first, and in some case gives them what they need to hear. Sarah did this. By OP not telling them immediately what happened, Sarah was able to tell them what happened and get them on her side. Remember, in the beginning of the post, OP stated that the family already blamed him for the breakup. Reply 4. The thing is, even if she hadn't cheated and he just decided he didn't want to be with her anymore, that's entirely his decision to make, and no one has the right to pressure him to the point of inviting the ex over at Christmas against his will. Reply 5, I agree. OTT machismo on the cheating. Cheating is about Sarah. It's not a reflection on him, and the sooner he realizes that, the better off he's gonna be, but totally not the a-hole. Response 2, NTA, but dude, you gotta tell them why you're acting like this. People will certainly feel a bit sorry for you, but they'll realize why you don't want to be in the same room with this girl. Reply 1. It's hard to blame them for trying to help fix something when they don't understand how badly it's been broken. Edited to add, nah. Reply 2. But it's not their responsibility to fix it. There are boundaries and they clearly overstepped theirs. Reply 3. Well-intentioned people often don't realize the massive harm caused by infidelity. r/surviving my infidelity. Reply 4. NTA. Actually, it's easy to blame the mom, sister, and the rest of the family for blowing past any sense of respect for OP and healthy boundaries. All they should need to know is that OP called it off and is not interested in reconciliation. It is none of their business why the couple broke up. For all they know, it could have been sexual incompatibility or anything else that knowing the details of would have embarrassed them to no end. The reasons/details for breakups are and should be private. It was not for anyone else to get involved, no matter what the ex said. When the ex called the mom's response should have been, "Look, I care about you like a daughter, but this is not up to me. You and OP need to work this out with each other, and I cannot get involved because it's not my place. If he doesn't want to talk to you, I'm sure he has his reasons." The fact that the ex called family members to force the issue is reprehensible, and the fact that they were open to discussing it and meddling says that they are TAs big time. It should have been enough for them that OP said that it was over. The only response that needed from family was, "Sorry, dude, that sucks. I'm here for you." Reply 5. Based on the sister's reaction, I can understand why he didn't want to tell his pushy family. They'd probably dismiss his feelings. Response 3. ESH. Well, buddy, I can understand why you did what you did, but when your mom started applying pressure to you to talk with your ex, you should have swallowed your pride and told her what happened. Yeah, it's humiliating and all, but sometimes you really just gotta man up and own it. As for not wanting to get back with your ex, I totally agree with you and don't think you two should get back together because the trust will never be the same. Reply 1. I don't agree. He was being forced to talk to his ex. If he doesn't want to, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to explain. It might keep his family from doing stupid things like this, but that's his choice. His mother and sister sound like a-holes from hell. Reply 2. It's a case of mutual respect and trust. Not telling my family why I broke up is closing them out really badly. Yes, he's not strictly speaking obligated to. And yes, his mom crossed every damn boundary you can imagine with what she did. But I still believe it's wrong in a moral way not to tell them anything. At least go like, we had Steph really bad happen, which I don't want to talk about because it hurts my pride, but that's why I don't want to see her again. At least tell them something in particular happened. I'd say everyone sucks here. Reply 3. Yes, it's a case of respect. I have never had to explain to my family why I broke up. They respect me enough to trust I know what's good for me. Reply 4. With a sister and mom like that, I would get why he didn't want to tell them the reason they broke up. Reply 5. I can't agree with this. If you say you don't want to talk to someone an ex anymore, no one should question that. He's not obligated to talk to anyone for any reason. His mom stepped over the 1,000%. She's his mother. She should take his word for it and be on his side. His mother and his ex both sound like manipulative a-holes. When I broke up with my ex of 5 years that I was engaged to, all I had to tell my parents was that it was over, and that was it. And they loved him dearly. They've never pushed it, they've never intervened, they've never invited him over unannounced. He's not the a-hole. Response 4, NTA. But stop covering up for her behavior. It's time to start explaining the cheating part. Cheating is not emasculating or humiliating. It's just gross, sick behavior that leads to relationships breaking up. Every person you mention this to will suddenly get it. Reply 1. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if his family doesn't believe him. His family may already have a picture of what happened either from the ex or otherwise, and may just hit the confirmation bias path running. Anything he says might be chalked up as a lie, regardless if it's true or not. Reply 2. I would tend to agree. Since he didn't even tell his family that he broke up because Sarah did something that hurt him a lot, she probably had time to make up some stuff which she then said to the family. In fact, she probably wouldn't have needed to. if she went to the mom saying that OP broke up with her for no reason. The mom probably thought he got a bad case cold feet. And his escape from the bathroom would have then made her think he was a coward. Of course, no one owes an explanation to their family why their relationship broke down. But when you introduce your SO to your family and tell them the SO is going to become part of the family, it's normal for them to get attached. Leaving them in the dark will just cause their imagination to run wild, and weird actions like jumping out of the bathroom window will just confirm their craziest theories. Reply 3. Sarah, if you ever want even a snowball's chance in hell to get back together, you have to explain to my family why we broke up in the first place. Then immediately tell the mom yourself. It gets corroborated by Sarah. You explain to the mom that you don't want anything to do with her and she should respect the decision. You tell Sarah she can F off. Reply 4. Because he let it go too long because it's emasculating and embarrassing to talk about it, so she was allowed to establish the narrative. Whether he likes it or not, he made her into family for them when they were to be married, and his own bizarre behavior has led to this. Reply 5. OP is worried about being emasculated, and he's jumping out of his mom's bathroom window so he doesn't have to talk to his ex. As far as I'm concerned, his refusal to admit what happened and his behavior afterwards has already damaged him more than what happened between them. Plus, she deserves that other people know what kind of person she is. Tell them, OP. Response 5. NTA. But dude, seriously, it would have been so sweet had you just stood in the middle of the living room and just announced to everyone why you left her. Why in the world would the cheating reflect badly on you when you didn't do anything wrong? There's got to be some culture differences at play here, because it's the first time I heard this mentality where you're afraid of doing the one thing that would get people off your back. Reply 1. It would have been so sweet had you just stood in the middle of the living room and just announced to everyone why you left her, in front of the ex as well. I have zero interest in patching things up with you after you cheated on me. Now please leave my mother's house before you F someone else here. Edit, thanks for the silver. Reply 2. Oh man, that's a great revenge fantasy, but it kind of drops him to their level a little. He is a grown man and does not have to explain anything to anyone except Sarah. OP has been trying to set boundaries, and when he was physically pushed into using a door as a boundary, rather than putting his extremely personal business on display in front of the whole family, he made a good call for himself. OP, I'm so sorry you're experiencing this breakdown of family at Christmas time. It just magnifies everything. There doesn't seem to be any indication of risk for this, but I'm going to mention it anyway because there was a time when I needed to make a call like this after a particularly horrible family holiday. I felt like I had lost my family and no one understood me at all, and I felt very alone and out of control. Don't let this ruin your Christmas or your life. You're starting a new chapter, and there's a lot of fresh paper to write on. doza.buzzfeednews.com/Caroline Key/what happens when you call suicide-hotline. Reply 3. Well, that's just me. If being pushed time and time again to talk and reconcile things after saying no, I'd give them the one talk and say what I quoted. There, we had the chat. More so at leaving zero doubt that there would ever be another chance again. Move on, Sarah. Let me enjoy Christmas. Reply 4. Why in the world would the cheating reflect badly on you when you didn't do anything wrong? There's got to be some culture differences at play here. Snip. In parts of America, having your wife cheat on you makes you a loser because the implication is that you're going to work and bring home money so your stay-at-home wife can go out and have sex with other men. It's not really a logical thought train and is rooted in some problematic thinking. But it's a thing a lot of people in America apparently feel, enough that folks were running around calling people cucks during the last election season. So, for whatever reason, for some Americans, if their wife cheats on them, it's their own fault for not being manly enough, or something along those lines, apparently. Reply 5. This is a great explanation. Just to add, women may feel inadequate or humiliated by being cheated upon too. I haven't gotten much sleep and can't think of a synonym equivalent to emasculated. But women can also feel this equivalent. It can be compounded if the cheater or others in the cheated upon's life explain away the cheating due to things they supposedly did wrong or didn't provide. Feelings are a bitch, but we have them. Response 6, ESH. Your mom shouldn't have done this. Sarah shouldn't have lied to your mom, and you also need therapy for why you feel humiliated by being cheated on. Reply 1. For reals, I'm a woman and have been cheated on, and I don't feel defeminized. I'm also a woman who's been with a woman who cheated and still didn't feel so. What the hell is up with that? Edit/disclaimer. That is rhetorical, you scallywags. I don't want to get into a scramble. Another edit. Y'all really don't know what rhetorical means, huh? Reply 2. Yeah, what the hell? I don't get how it is humiliating or makes him less of man by getting cheated on. Such a strange thing to hide in order to save face. Reply 3. Some families, especially if they're old school, expect the man to be in control of the relationship, as they say, has his house in order. This is not written down, but is entrenched in the way they treat their women. Talk about them, talk to them. It's not exactly in a horrible way either, but just the language used. In these environments, being cheated on is very emasculating, especially if it's not something that's happened before within the family. As an extra butt of info, it's not exactly a cultural or religious thing either, although sometimes that can increase the feelings. Another perspective comes from the type of person you are. Something like the higher you go, the harder you fall. Men who have a manly, charismatic, domineering identity, the type that you think to yourself, who would ever cheat on them, tend to take instances of cheating so much harder than others. It's the shock factor that comes from their misspecified identity. Who are they if not what they and others thought? I agree with the other comments on not being enough. However, that is a two-way street. Reply 4. This is a dysfunctional as hell family, and OP probably needs therapy for more reasons than just that. Edit. Because this post got locked, the mom disowned her son because of her own boundary stomping. She clearly didn't raise him to value honesty. Not that his withholding this info from her means he doesn't value honesty, but why doesn't he feel comfortable being honest with his own mother? And she herself doesn't value boundaries or her own son's autonomy. Yes, this family is dysfunctional as hell, and they all need professional counseling. Response 7, NTA. Your family has some serious issues with boundaries, and Sarah needs to get the hint and go away. Response 8, ESH. Climbing out of the window because you don't want to explain what happened. What are you, 16? Just talk to your family. The humiliation of being cheated on is less than the shame of acting like this to people who love you. Yes, they should have respected your no contact rule, but seriously, they also need to know what actually happened to warrant this. Maybe some true would have got them on your side, and you wouldn't be in this situation, a problem that could be solved by a decent conversation. Reply 1. Seriously, this person sounds incredibly immature. I hope they don't get married for a long while. This isn't normal behavior for a grown adult human. This is like those Ben Stiller movies where everything is going wrong and things keep escalating, and all he needs to do is ask for a new roll of goddamn toilet paper, and you wonder why the F he's so embarrassed to ask. Just ask for toilet paper, Ben Stiller. Jesus Christ! So that's OP. Ask for toilet paper. OP Jesus. You're not 12 anymore. Edit. Sorry, thought about it some more. I take it back. You're hurting and running. Do what you need to do to survive. I love you. Reply 2. I wonder what would happen if he stayed and tried to explain himself. OP knows his family and his ex better than we do. Response 9. NTA. Your mother cornering you at the holidays of all times is so unbelievably rude. She could have attempted this at a coffee shop or somewhere else. Regardless, I feel like if I were on your shoes, I would have done the same thing too. Because really, the alternative probably would have been a giant blow-up in front of the family. And jumping out a window sounds much more fun. As for your mother cutting ties with you, that definitely makes her the a-hole. You'd think she'd support her kid, but apparently not. Sorry you're going through this. Reply 1. I reckon Mom deliberately chose the holidays because she had a vision of OP and Sarah kissing and making up under the twinkling lights of the Christmas tree as the whole family looks on, happy tears in their eyes. All thanks to her just bringing those two silly kids to ether again. Then everyone applauded. Response 10. ESH. You are totally in the right for dumping her and not wanting to have any contact with her, and it is not your family's responsibility to get involved with your relationship. However, you have no idea what this girl has been telling your mom and family since you haven't told them what happened, and they might be concerned that you're trying to self-sabotage. While your mother should have spent more time talking to you about what's going on rather than trying to reconcile the two of you, she doesn't know what's going on or understand why you are acting this way. If you had been transparent at the beginning, it's likely she would have taken your side, and your family could give you emotional support that likely would have been helpful to you in this undoubtedly stressful time in your life. Obviously, this is an unexpected and horrible spend the holidays, and you have my deepest condolences. I totally understand why you wouldn't want to talk about what happened, and strangers on the internet have no idea of your past family dynamic, but it sounds like your family just wants to help. Best of luck. Response 11. Hard, not the a-hole. Although you really didn't do yourself any favors by not stating the real reason for the breakup when it actually happened. Still, not the a-hole. No means no. Response 12. ESH. Sarah, for obvious reasons. Your sister, definitely, for not believing you and trying to police how you handle a breakup. Your mom, only slightly TA though. In the 4 years that you and Sarah have been together, she's obviously built a relationship with her, hence saying that she's like your mom's child too. She has no idea why you broke up with Sarah, only that you were the one to break it off. And you have no idea what Sarah has been telling her. For all she knows, you could be having some sort of mental breakdown and blowing up things in your life. And it doesn't help that you jumped out a window either. Your mom doesn't know what's going on, and all she probably wants to do is help two people that she loves very much find their way back to each other. No, it's not her place, and she should butt out, which is why she's a bit of TA. You're TA too. Not for the way you feel. You can't help that. Although I do agree with people suggesting you see a therapist because of the emasculating and humiliating. You're not the one that should be feeling humiliated here. But again, you have a right to feel what you feel. And it was your relationship with Sarah, no question. But your mom, and presumably your sister, also have a relationship with her. And at this point, they have no reason to cut her off. They don't know she did anything wrong. They only know what they can see. You broke up with Sarah for unexplained reasons, and whatever lies Sarah's been feeding them. I would really recommend telling your mom face to face. Your sister might have already said something to her, so if you have any proof, you might want to show it to her. And you shouldn't have to do that, but Sarah's been lying to them for weeks already, so she's got the head start. If they don't believe you, suggest talking to her in person and asking her directly about her cheating. If this were my situation, I would probably hide out at my mom's and listen to the conversation, and if she started denying it, I'd go in and confront her. But I'm super petty like that, and I do not recommend doing it. It would definitely make you TA, but justifiably so in my opinion. Good luck, and I'm sorry you're going through this. Reply 1. My problem with that is none of this is saying OP wants them to cut her off. They are 100% able to foster a relationship with her without getting OP involved. Being upset they broke up, wanting contact, all of that is no a-holes here. Trying to force OP and his ex back together is what put them in the TA category. Reply 2. I agree, but they also don't know why OP broke up with her. If my son broke up with a girl that I thought was going to be my future daughter-in-law, I'd want to know why as well. Maybe it's not my place or theirs, but it looks to them like OP just broke it off for no reason. And if Sarah is saying that she doesn't know why he did it and she's so hurt, I understand why they're meddling. It doesn't make it right. It makes them TA, but it's a very common reaction to something like this. I can only fault them so much, especially if Sarah is asking for their help. But again, this is why I put them as TA in my Everyone Sucks Here vote. Response 13. ESH. You for not being able to handle the fact your ex cheated on you. It's her shortcoming, not yours. And her for enlisting others to try to help mend what she broke. Reply 1. OP just found out a few weeks ago. Blaming him/expecting him to just get over it is exactly the kind of pain from which he's protecting himself. Reply 2. Except nobody would blame him for it if he just told them. His own pride caused this. Everyone else says it's not the family's job to reconcile. But they were about to have Sarah as a new member of the family, so it 100% is their business if Sarah gets them involved. But the only reason any of them are even willingly involved is because Sarah has lied. So she's 100% the a-hole, but the family is not. They're just trying to help reconcile and bring their family together. And if you just come clean, none of this would have happened. This is a clear story of pride over logic. He and Sarah are both in the wrong. Him for being prideful and stupid, her for the obvious reasons. Reply 3. But what about the sister? She called him a liar when he finally told her. How can he trust that his family will take his side if he tells them when he already has evidence that won't happen? And I still 100% say it's not their business, even if she was going to be a new family member by marriage. They could still keep in contact with her and still treat her like family, with or without the relationship. It's not OP's responsibility to stay with someone, no matter what the final straw is, because his family wants him to marry her. If my brother announced he was filing for divorce, I'd be saying what the hell, cause his wife is perfect for him. I'd also feel sad that I would no longer be able to go to his house and hang out with them, but I would trust that he has reasons, even if he doesn't tell me. Response 14. Even if you did just break up with her just because you felt like it, that gives them no right to force anyone in your life. Your ex is ridiculous for even trying to use your family to get back to you, knowing that you wouldn't want it to come out. She probably assumed you would just forgive her after putting in the effort. Honestly, your sister is probably going to tell everyone, and a male sorry. The only a-hole thing you did was breaking the window screen to get out. You did what you needed to do to avoid a situation that made you uncomfortable. I'm the kind of person that will cut anyone out of my life because I refuse to deal with bullshit. Slightly jaded in life, but hey, it is what it is. If your mom keeps up with saying she's going to cut ties with you, then ignore her. Don't answer calls or texts. I'm willing to bet after a few weeks she will apologize when she realizes you're an adult and she can't control you. If not, then you don't have someone controlling you. Win-win. Response 15. ESH. You're allowed to end your relationship. You're also allowed to talk about it however you want. But the choice that you made to not tell anyone the truth about what happened left open the space for your ex to fill in the blanks however she wanted. You brought this on yourself. Yeah, your mom and sister are clearly a-holes because of the crap they pulled and choosing to side with your ex. But judging from your sister's reaction and the fact that you climbed out of a bathroom window during a Christmas-time family dinner instead of having a to-the-point conversation, points to the possibility that you run from your problems instead of facing them. For the record, I don't think that being cheated on is humiliating or emasculating, and I'm very sorry that you're going through this. It sucks. You should not feel ashamed that you were cheated on, but I do think you need to suck it up and be honest and straightforward with your family. Response 16. NTA, what the hell? You are a better person than me for even considering keeping your mom in your life for as long as you have. If I had an ex-fiancé that cheated on me, and my mom even said anything positive about her ever, let alone apply pressure to give her another chance, I'd never speak with my mom again without even giving it a second thought. It would be the easiest decision ever for me. You're better off without your mom by the sounds of it. Reply 1. It's the sister that pisses me off. Just automatically taking her side and calling him a bullshiter. That's incredibly fucked up. Reply 2. My sister said that if Sarah had really cheated on me, I would have said something immediately. She thinks I basically ghosted my ex and then made up a story that would make me look sympathetic only after everyone had turned on me. Reply 3. You sister is an a-hole. You mother is an a-hole as well, and your ex is the worst kind of a-hole. You? Maybe? Kinda, I don't know. However, ex's cheating is not on you. I wish you could see that it isn't emasculating. She didn't cheat because you weren't enough of a man or whatever you are thinking or feeling. She cheated because she is an ass, not because something you did or didn't. F her. And your sister and your mother. Reply 4. Dude, I'm so sorry. Everyone being so quick to blame you. No wonder you don't want to open up. r/surviving infidelity may be helpful. I wish you peace. Response 7. NTA for breaking up with Sarah. TA for never explaining why you broke in the first place and expecting your mom to just out of nowhere understand when you never told her. How can you be mad at your mom when in her mind she thinks that some small matter caused it to end? Literally, all of this could have been avoided if you weren't too much of a coward to just say you got cheated on, which you're acting like is your fault that it happened. Response 8. ESH, sorry to say. Oh, I was cheated on. That's emasculating. That's bullcrap. You didn't cheat, she did. What other people do isn't affecting who you are. Humiliating? Are you serious? How so? You say cheating is humiliating and emasculating someone else's actions, but you feel it's not emasculating and humiliating for a grown-up man to hurl themselves out of a window, to avoid talking, and for a chance be a grown-up and state realities? That's not? If anything, it's much, much more self-emasculating to run away and avoid standing to your convictions, beliefs, and feelings than to have been cheated on. Your partner had sex with someone else? Happens to the best of us. You don't think that makes for a good partnership? You have every right to think that. You sulk around and avoid standing by that conviction? Now, that's humiliating and emasculating. So someone you planned to have a life with, who agreed to certain conditions to have that life with you, broke those conditions. That happens. She slept with someone else. That's not a massive crime in and by itself, but it's breaking your agreement. She's not owned by you, not your property. You don't control her, and she doesn't control you. All you can and should hope for is to find someone who meshes with you and your desires and wishes for the future in a way that makes it possible to remain together. Just because she's not that one doesn't make your or her feelings or actions any less okay or valid. They're two perfectly okay puzzle pieces, just two pieces that don't fit together. It threatened, to quote the dictionary, your male role and identity. If you're that much into manliness and your male role, remember that the male role also includes not running away from people and hurling yourself out of windows to avoid standing for something. Response 19, NTA. Your family should respect your decision. You don't need a good enough reason to break up with someone. In fact, I think it is classier to not give a reason rather than trash someone out of spite, or in your case, destroy someone with the truth. Why a mother would side with a child's ex over her own child is beyond me. Sarah will never give your mother grandchildren. Feel free to remind your mother of that. It might put her priorities in order. Edit a word.